All right, good afternoon, colleagues, and welcome to the tips and tricks for today, for the month of September 2023. Thank you for coming. My name is Bright Nwaru, and I am the presenter of this, will I call it workshop or symposium, and the convener of this platform. All right, so welcome. We'll go through our our topic for today. The first thing I will do is, as usual, send you to your breakout sessions. Send you to your breakout sessions. And this is what I would like you to do. So please just take a picture. I will give you 15 minutes to discuss within your group. And when you come, please, when you get there, appoint one person who will use 1 minute. So if you don't have, in fact, this is a practice of what we are trying to achieve today. How do you tell the story of data succinctly summarize it? So somebody who will use 1 minute to tell us what you have discussed around these issues here, Okay, so just take a picture while I organize to send you to breakout session. And we have, I will create 3 groups. And so you choose the group. You choose the group that appears in front of you. All right. Okay, so please, the groups are opened and I start counting the time now. So join your group, and in 15 minutes, I will call you back. All right, I guess all the groups are back. So group 1, who is presenting? Let us see and hear what you have. Group number 1, who is present? Okay, I have Adeton. Adeton, you're presenting group number 1?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So I'm Adeton Adewaye for representing group 1. The first question we have is, how important is data in your field discipline research? So we all agree that in our various fields, in economy, in public health, in nutrition, in ICT, we cannot do without data. So based on the data, we can tell a good story. So from this, we find out that data is a form of raw information needed to produce a certain concrete information that always serves as a guide for policymakers. So I will now move on to question 2. It says, can you live without data in your discipline? We agree, capital no. So in public health, for example, we picked public health as an example. We use data to identify special risk groups. We use data to detect new health threats. We use data to plan public health programs and evaluate their success. We also use data to prepare government budgets and policies. So question 3, what does storytelling with data mean to you? It means that data speaks about itself. It means that storytelling means that synthesizing the results. It explains simply so that it makes sense to common man. It will explain, data will explain what we meant by what we put down, so that it will make sense to common man. So data has no story on it, but it's a platform through which, after processing, that individual scientists can use to tell their own story. So for example, if we say 5 pounds can be used for something until we prove it otherwise, it meant nothing. Because what £5 means to you may be different from what it meant to another person. It may be a story about the arts, it may be a story about the agriculture, or something that is happening in the society. So it means that data is like a storytelling that can say something about itself. So
All right.
a raw material.
You have gone overboard, Adotun. It looks like I will hand over to you today.
Thank you, sir.
But let's take another group. Let's take another, because I still want to speak. I'm not handing over to you, Adotun. Who is presenting for group number 2? Group number 2, who is presenting for group number 2? All right, Lizzie, please go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. I'm Lizzie Edward, and I'm representing group 2. We agree in our group that data is the heartbeat of research, and without data, there will be no results. So data is very important, it's very critical. We also discussed the importance of data as it relates to keeping track of our work, making important decisions, and formulating policy. We have someone from the epidemiology and the nursing sector talk to us about the importance of data, the relevance of data to their industry, and we said that data drives everything, the driving force behind everything we do. For the nurse, data is important for record keeping, for documentation. Without it, you can't accurately treat your patient, dispense the right information for follow-up on patients and the rest. The importance of storytelling in data. Storytelling, the variables in data, they are like the characters in storytelling, and the descriptive statistics helps us to know the relationship that exists between the data that we are using. It helps us to critically analyze, interpret, and make conclusions that we can share to people for feedback, to get feedback, because data cannot speak by itself. It has to be explained.
All right.
Thank you.
Lizzie also wants to take over today, but let me stop you here. Urena, group number 3, I think.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Urena for group number 3. How important is data to our fields? Well, we agreed in our group that data is very important to our fields and our disciplines. We had 3 people from economics, nursing, and ICT. Every one of us, made it clear that we all need data. We cannot live without data. We need the data to formulate policies. And these policies we get from the data guides every action we take in our individual disciplines. And what does storytelling with data mean to us? There is nothing you can do, if the data is just figures. You are the one that will put flesh to the data. You are the one that will process the data and then tell the story around it. For example, from the angle of the economics, we looked at the Nigerian situation and we say the data reveals the inflation information. It reveals that the income is safe and there is increased cost of everything around. And then you are the one that will be able to speak to the information, and then the layman will be able to make meaning out of the data. And then from the medical angle, it helps us to identify disease patterns. It helps us to, get information about client or patient caseloads. Then you'll be able to know what locations do these people come from. Is it a public health issue? And then from the ICT angle, we talked about, trainings with the ICT that gives them information to know why there are low turnout from different locations, and then what solutions could take care of all this. So without data, we won't be able to do any meaningful activity. And that data cannot speak for itself except we add flesh to the data. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rena, and all the groups for those fantastic insights. I think my job has been made quite easy, because maybe that is why there is a low turnout today in the tips and tricks. Everybody knows what we are going to talk about today, so there is really no need to bother ourselves to come. But the fact is that I will still speak before I let you go. Okay, I've learned something from you, from what you have said now, and I would like you to also get something from me before you go. So data do not speak for itself, and I think we are all in agreement with that. We are all in agreement with that, with the presentations you have made. But actually, what I want to present today is the first principles of storytelling, because many times, you know, the overarching principles of what we do sometimes are not the things that drive us. Okay, sometimes we just do things because people are doing it. Okay, people are doing it. In the Nigerian balance, we call it follow, 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 follow. You know, you somebody goes and you follow, but you need to hold on to principles, because principles don't change. You know, it is we who change. Principles don't change. So the underlying principles of storytelling with data. All right. Our world is full of data today. All right. But data have their basis. They have their basis in our world. All right. They help us to understand our world. They help us understand our world. If you look at let's say that some of the things you have mentioned, if I take for instance, if you want to see infant mortality, you want to talk about inflation, if you want to talk about flooding, if you want to talk about coup in recent times in Africa, if you want to talk about those things, you have to use data. How do we know that there are many coups now? Unprecedented number of coups in a short period of time in Africa. Let's say during the last 10 years, this year, last year and this year, perhaps have ranked the most. All right. How do we know that? Based on data. How do we know that inflation is high? It's based on data. It helps us to understand our world. Okay? Data help us to make meaning of our daily experiences. Make meaning of our daily experiences. There is hunger in many places. In Nigeria, for instance, the price of fuel has increased so much that every family needs to plan. So you need to plan before you spend. You need to plan before you spend. You can't just spend. And what makes you to plan? Because you're calculating data. Your money, how much you spend. If I spend this amount today, what is left for me during the weekend? What is left for me during the week? What is left for me during the remaining part of the month? So that helps you, that informs your decision for daily experiences. Yeah, and so the second one is decisions as well. And this can go in the area individually or even at the policy level. If we want to make decision on COVID, all right, COVID, this will depend on the incidence, number of people who have it, so that can inform our decision on how to channel money, how to plan our budget. How much, if you have certain budget for the health care, and we have COVID, and then we have malaria, we have HIV. So based on which is most critical, which is, I mean, for malaria, can we endure it for the next 6 months? Perhaps yes. What of COVID? Can we endure it? No. So we channel resources that way. All right. So data helps us to make decisions because we want to make decisions based on what works best. We want to make decisions based on what works best, and we can reach those using data. So as I was saying, our world has become data-based, meaning if you look left and right, what you see is data. In fact, what we're doing here is data. Everybody agree? What we're doing here now is data. Maybe you're not convinced, but I know that, okay? Because we can generate lots of data here. We can generate data of how many people have come here. We can generate data of how many of them are from different parts of the continent. How many of them are males? How many of them are females? How many people have spoken? How many people have raised their hands? How many people are in different disciplines? We can even generate data of how many times I've opened my mouth to speak. How many times I've called Africa? You can generate data. You keep on generating data because that is what we are doing today in our world. Is full of data. The World Economic Forum in 2019 indicated that there are 500 million tweets sent each day. 500 million tweets. 294 billion emails sent each day. 4 terabytes of data created from each connected car. 1 terabyte equals to 1,000 gigabytes. And by 2025, there will be 463 exabytes of data created each day. 1 exabyte is 1 billion gig. You know what that means? You know that one. It means when you step out, you're swelling in the midst of data. It means that what you are thinking, well, this is not relevant for me, you will actually be an old school when we get to 2025, as they have said, because there will be lots of data we are touching, we are feeling, we are dealing with. All right. And now he says that now data is called the new oil. Life-saving as water, the new oil. Maybe this a warning to those African countries that are boasting in their oil: Nigeria, Ghana, Angola, which again, Gabon. Is that all? Well, data will be the king. Data will be the king. If you have it, you know, even in the story of the world, it is those who have the data that are audible, who can make meaning, who can make sense. It means that understanding data and developing skills in data analysis has become essential for everyone. If you have not taken it serious before now. And that is what is called data literacy. What the world needs today, data literacy. Ability to read, to work with, analyze and argue with data. If you don't have that ability, then there is a deficiency that is there. There is a deficiency. In July, we had the SFI data analysis course. And some of us were exposed to the nuances of thinking about data. For me, it was a great experience. And I believe for many of those who came, it was a great experience. Because we need the skills. We need to be data literate. We need to be able to understand and tell a story from the data, because the data is the order of the day. You can't feign ignorance, and it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what discipline you are. It doesn't matter how old you are, really. This is important. It's important. So the ability to take data, to be able to understand it, to process it, to extract value from it, to visualize it, to communicate it, that is going to be a hugely important skill in the next decade. This was what Google's chief economist said in 2019. And I don't know, in this session we have today, or in any group where somebody will confidently make an argument against that. I'm yet to see. If you're one, you can raise your hand. If this statement is wrong. In fact, we need to add things to it. Instead of hugely important, what can we add there to really make it strong? What can we add there? Instead of saying hugely important, we can say it's going to be a skill you cannot live without. Yeah. It's as simple as that. And the developed world is already in front, as usual. I remember when my daughter was 10 years, he started coding at school. They started teaching her how to code. Goodness me. They started teaching them how to code. They can code different things, different toys. All right? There's an exposure. There's a mindset that is being created. Where in Africa, we can't even count votes in 2023. And people already started a decade back to train children who are even up to teenagers how to start coding. You wonder what society that would be? We can't count our votes. If you conduct elections, people kill themselves because it's not well counted. Anyway, I don't want to sensitize you, but I'm just telling you how it is. Data do not speak for themselves. So no matter the amount of data you have, they have no voice. If you keep them and you travel to Mexico, travel to North Korea, travel to, where's it called? Cuba, wherever you travel, you come back and you meet them there, still staring at you. It is we who speak for them. It is we who give them a voice. It is we who dissect them. It is we who imbue them with meaning. It is we who uncover their complex nature and then bring out things that people can hold on and say, wow, is how it is. Wow. And I tell you, this exercise is a beautiful one. It's a beautiful one. Well, at this juncture, for those of you who have taken it lightly to join ASFI membership, the 2023 membership tenure is coming to an end in December. You better prepare to join 2024 because there are many things you will learn in this direction we're talking about. For instance, we sent out 2 surveys, the quality, productivity, and impact survey, and then research funding survey. We have preliminary data from those. And through mentorship, several of the SFI members are cracking that and bringing that information to present as abstracts in the upcoming SFI conference. So if you're saying, well, I don't have the skills, there's no problem, come along, because there are things that will be given to you. Really, you will receive them. And then you can go and provide insight to your discipline, to your career. So there's an opportunity. And that is happening amongst those who are members. We mentioned it from the beginning that there will be exclusive incentives, services provided to members. Because they are the ones who have said, well, I believe in this movement. I am putting my effort in it. So if you're not there, you're losing quite a lot of things, especially if you want to develop these skills. Because we have had several sessions in which we guide, we provide opportunity for people to think and to develop their skills. Numbers have an important story to tell. They rely on you to give them a clear and convincing voice. Even few have said that, and I agree absolutely with him. What is data storytelling? Ability to effectively communicate insights from a data set using narratives and visualization. It can be used to put data insight into context for and inspire action from your audience. The audience needs to be inspired to act. That is the ultimate goal. I remember when I was young, in Nigeria, we have this series, this television series where it's called Tales by Moonlight. I don't know if that still exists now. Tales by Moonlight, in which it comes every Sunday evening. Every Sunday evening, and people will sit at front of the television, and this story is being told. It's magnetic. It's magnetic. The children will sit there. You don't even want to swallow your speech because you don't want any distraction. You don't want any sound that will distract. Every attention is put here. And these people know how to captivate attention. That is actually what we're talking about, storytelling. Using the data you have generated and carve out impressive, convincing story that will spur people to action. It's not enough to analyze data. That skill is good. But it needs to go to the point of communicating it. And then people can decide on it and do something beautiful with it. Ingredients of data storytelling, you have to have the data. There needs to be a context. And what we mean by that is theoretical basis, that the data is being is filling a gap in. You need to have it. That is thing for the audience. Audience is very important. Who are they? What is their relationship to the context or issue? What is the need for them? Can they help influence the outcome? Think about your audience. Who is your audience? As a scientist, you have many audiences. You have the scientific audience. You have the layman's audience. You have the policymakers. You have the government. You have experts from other disciplines, not your own discipline. So there should be an audience for communicating. Somebody is annotating my slide, and I don't like that. Keep your hand one place. And then there's need for the story. What story are you going to tell? That is the beautiful part of it. What story are you going to get out of that? So you need to think about it. All right. And there are three components of data storytelling: the data, the narrative, and the visualization. These are very important because when you move from data collection to data analysis and then storytelling, you want to imbue meaning, understanding. You need to help people to increase their interest. You need to think about stratifying their inquisitive mind. You need to help them to remain steadfast with you, not to lose focus, not to be distracted. And so in doing that, what are you doing? If I show this now, when I show this slide, it does something to you. You look at the right side, you see pictures. You see that your attention will be targeted at those pictures to understand what is happening there. They look so cool. There's some nice women there. There's some women who have big chairs. There's one guy who looks like Trump. Is that Trump? I don't know. So a lot of things are going on in your head. So as a data storyteller, what you do is that you use tools, visualizations that will help you get the message out. And then the narrative is then your ability to be able to make a potent description, to separate what is important from what is not important, and to tell that story in a way that somebody can take home a message. You derive your point, and the person takes it and runs with it. So the data has to be there. You have to have the narrative. You have to have the visualization. My project here, I have a project I'm running, and one of those projects I have there is what I'm doing. How can I reach out to the public with it? Because many times what we do as scientists is that we go, we collect money from funders, and we do our research, and we publish in top journals, and we're happy we have done that. But the question here is that those that give us the money is coming from the public. Those that contribute data to what we are doing, because we collect data from people. We invite them to our research clinic, and we measure we take their blood samples, we measure their weight, we measure all kinds of things, their lung functions. The question is, are they interested in knowing what we have done? Are they interested? Yes, they're interested. Did you understand what we do after we publish? No. Because they don't understand those scientific jargons and terminology. Can we reach out to them? Yes. Can we make our story, our findings adaptable in a way they can appreciate? Yeah. If we do that, what would that do to their support of what we're doing? It will increase their support. But somebody knowing that, so the sample I contributed helped to solve this problem, I will give more. It's a motivation. The funders knowing that, what I did contributed to this, they will give more. But the story I tell to my scientific community cannot be understood by them. And so what we are doing now is we are bringing a scientific storyteller. Once we publish a paper, he or she will dissect it and make it understandable for the layperson. The principles: understand your context. What is your context? What context are you operating in? For instance, the context I'm operating with is in respiratory disease, it's in allergy, it's in COVID, all right? So that context is different from somebody who is doing economics or doing accounting. Understand your context, all right? Choose an effective visual. It is important to use visualization. And so choose an effective visual. Eliminate clutter. Focus attention. Focus attention. It is not everything that you bring out, you give. It's not everything you bring out from your data, you give. So it needs to go through the process of filtering. All right? Filtering. And then you can now tell the story. The abstract I mentioned that we are presenting in the conference from ASFI project, that has provided a learning platform for so many who are participating. Some have written their abstract and sent to me, and I will look at this abstract, and then I will begin to dig more into. Because some of the things you have told here, even when you're telling some stories, some children, they want you, when you're telling all the background, but what happened to that man? What happened? They want you to go to the point. And so it is here. Sometimes you engage in telling stories that do not matter and wasting spaces. All right? So you need to understand how this works. Principles. So understand your context. Choose visuals that will help your audience. Eliminate clutter. Don't entangle things. Focus on the most important thing. And then tell the story. What is the goal? What is the goal? What is the goal? What is the goal? From what you're seeing on the screen, who can tell me what is the goal of all this storytelling with data we're talking about? What is the goal? Anybody?
Yes, please, Prof.
Yes. What is the goal?
What is the goal?
Oh, have you managed? Sorry, someone Somebody has said it.
Okay, thank you very much.
The goal is make a change. That is the goal. That is the core of the whole thing. Make a change. Yeah, drive a change. People into action. Make people to make a decision. But before it can come, you need to explain. You need to engage with the way you're telling the story. You need to enlighten them. And then they can buy into and make a change. So, storytelling is in short form, communicate. And that is the process of turning data insights into action. It's not trivial thing. It's doable. It's sweet when you know how to do it. It's something that you need to practice and become better in it. You can become better in it. That's what I have today. The principles of storytelling with data. In October, we'll be dealing with graphical choices. We talked about visuals, graphical choices. How do you choose what to present? How do you choose what will convince your audience? Yeah, Eman is putting there. If you want to get the presentations, the presenter slide, please just put a link there. Fill that link and put your email so that we can send to you after this. All right, so join us in October. And then just to let you know that the ASFI upcoming conference, there's quite a lot of activities happening, very beautiful feedbacks, abstract being submitted, things are happening. If you have not joined the bandwagon, oh, well, I can't, please don't put your email in the chat box. Use the form Eman has put the link. Eman, you can share it again and put your email there. Please do that. All right. So if you have not registered, if you have not submitted your abstract, tomorrow is the deadline. And please, if you have not registered, you have not taken advantage of the early bird registration, which ends tomorrow, please do so. If you have registered, you have not paid by the end of tomorrow, then you are a victim of the late registration fee. So please run now and get this done. Run now and get this done so that you will not be knocking on my door and say, how do I do this? How do I do that? And just to remind you that there are top African sons and daughters who will be gracing, have agreed that they will be here to share their experiences, motivate us, and join this movement to take our research, our career to a greater height. Yeah. And as well, tomorrow will be the deadline for application to the research funding and grant writing course. If you're not an SFI member, well, I know you have cash, but yes, SFI members always get some judicious discount. But tomorrow is the deadline. So if you have not registered, if you have not applied, please do so now so that you can join us in the next course. All right. That also goes for the art of scientific writing and publishing. All right, thank you very much, everyone. And I hope that you have picked something from both what you have said and what I presented. I wish you a very fabulous weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.